They told you that it takes money to make money. That is the single most toxic lie the financial system has ever fed you. It is a myth designed to keep the working class paralyzed, saving pennies in a bank account while inflation eats them alive. If you have $0 in the bank, you cannot be a traditional real estate investor. You do not have the capital to risk, and you do not have the luxury to wait. But you do not have to be an investor to make $50,000 in the American housing market this year. You just have to be a transaction engineer. Today, I'm going to give you the exact, step-by-step blueprint to flip real estate you do not even own. No credit checks, no banks, no down payments, no fixing toilets. This strategy is called wholesaling. We are not flipping houses. We are flipping paper. We are finding distressed assets, locking them up with a legally binding contract, and selling that contract to a wealthy investor for a massive assignment fee. This is Property Path. Put your excuses away. Let's get to work. To understand how to make money out of thin air, you have to completely change how you view real estate. Delete Zillow and the MLS from your brain. Those platforms are for retail buyers. The houses you see there with fresh paint, staged furniture, and a smiling realtor standing out front, those are entirely useless to us. Those sellers want top dollar, and they have the time to wait for it. We do not look for beautiful houses. We look for motivation. We look for distress. We are hunting for the invisible inventory of the American housing market. We are looking for the exhausted landlord who is sick of chasing tenants for rent. We are looking for the inherited property that is sitting vacant, rotting away, costing 3 siblings property taxes they cannot afford. We are looking for PRE foreclosures where the bank is closing in and the owner is desperate to salvage their credit. These sellers do not want top dollar. They want speed. They want convenience. They want a cash offer that makes their headache disappear in 14 days. You are going to be the person who provides that solution. So, how do you find them? You don't need a massive marketing budget. You need hustle. It is called driving for dollars. You get in your car and you drive through older, working-class neighborhoods. You look for the physical signs of distress: a tarp on the roof, grass that hasn't been cut in 2 months, boarded-up windows, or a mailbox overflowing with past due notices. You write down the address. You go home. You use a skip tracing software to find the owner's cell phone number, and you call them directly. You say, "Hey, I was driving through the neighborhood and saw your property on Elm Street. Are you open to receiving a fair cash offer to take it off your hands?" When you find a seller who says yes, you do not guess what to offer. Amateurs guess. Professionals use data. This brings us to the heartbeat of wholesaling, the MAO formula, the Maximum Allowable Offer. If you mess up this math, you lose the game. Here is the exact formula you will use: the after repair value multiplied by 70% minus the cost of repairs minus your wholesale fee. Let me break that down. First, the after repair value, or ARV. You look at the recent sales data in that exact neighborhood. You see that houses with similar square footage, once they have a brand new kitchen, a new roof, and fresh floors, are selling for exactly $250,000. That is your ARV. Now, the cash buyer you are eventually going to sell this deal to, the actual flipper who swings the hammers, needs to make a profit. The golden rule of real estate flipping is the 70% rule. An investor will not pay more than 70% of a home's repaired value, minus the repair costs. 70% of $250,000 is $175,000. Next, you walk through the house. The place is a disaster. It needs a total gut rehab. You estimate the repair costs at $40,000. You subtract the $40,000 from the $175,000. That leaves you with $135,000. This number 135,000 is the absolute maximum price a seasoned cash buyer will pay for this property in its current, trashed condition. But remember, you are a transaction engineer. You are not working for free. You need to get paid for finding this off-market goldmine. You decide your wholesale fee, your cut of the action, is going to be $15,000. You subtract your $15,000 fee from the $135,000. Your final number is $120,000. That is your maximum allowable offer. You cannot offer the seller a single penny over $120,000 or the deal goes dead. You sit down with the seller. You explain that you are buying the property entirely as is. They don't have to clean out the garbage. They don't have to pay a 6% realtor commission. They don't have to pay closing costs. You offer them $120,000 because they are motivated and distressed, they agree. Now, we hit the hidden hurdle. The trap that keeps 99% of beginners paralyzed with fear. The skeptics in the comments are typing furiously right now, I have $0. If I sign a contract to buy a house for $120,000 and I don't have the money, I am going to get sued. I am going to go bankrupt. Wrong. That is poor person thinking. The wealthy use contracts to control assets without assuming the liability. When you draft the standard real estate purchase agreement, you are going to include two critical elements that make your risk absolutely zero. First, next to your name as the buyer, you add 3 magic words and/or assigns. So it reads, John Doe and/or assigns. Under American contract law, this simple phrase gives you the legal right to assign or transfer your position in this contract to a third party. You are not buying the house. You are securing the exclusive legal right to buy the house. This is called equitable interest. Second, you include a standard inspection contingency clause. This clause states that you, the buyer, have a 14-day or 21-day inspection period to review the property, run the title, and finalize your partner's approval. If for any reason whatsoever, the property does not meet your investment criteria during this window, you have the unilateral right to cancel the contract with zero financial penalty. Did you hear that? Your risk is zero. You sign the contract. You hand over a completely nominal earnest money deposit. Depending on your state and the seller, this could be $100 or $500. This money does not go to the seller. It goes to a neutral title company or escrow attorney. If you cannot find a buyer within your 14-day window, you exercise your inspection contingency. You cancel the contract, you get your $100 deposit back, and you walk away. You lost nothing but your time. But we are not here to cancel contracts. We are here to get paid. You now legally control a $250,000 asset for $120,000 on paper. It is time to flip the paper. You need to find the cash buyer. You need the guy with the trucks, the crews, and the capital who is desperate for his next flip project. Where are they? They are everywhere, starving for inventory. You go to your local Real Estate Investors Association or REIA meetings. You go to local Facebook real estate groups. You pull public records to see which LLCs have bought multiple properties in cash in that exact zip code over the last 6 months. You reach out to them and say, I have an off-market contract on Elm Street. The ARV is $250,000. It needs $40,000 in work. I am assigning the contract for $135,000. First one to wire the non-refundable deposit to my title company gets the deal. A seasoned flipper runs his own math. He sees the 70% rule checks out perfectly. He says, I'll take it. Now, you execute the second piece of paperwork. It is called an assignment of contract. This document legally transfers your purchasing rights to the cash buyer. In exchange for stepping into your shoes, the cash buyer agrees to pay your assignment fee. In this case, the difference between your $120,000 contract and the $135,000 he agreed to pay. Your fee is $15,000. Here is how the closing day works at an investor-friendly American title company. The cash buyer wires the full $135,000 plus closing costs into the title company's escrow account. The title company looks at the paperwork. They take $120,000 and wire it to the original distressed seller. The seller is thrilled because they got exactly what they were promised, fast and without lifting a finger. The cash buyer is thrilled because they just secured a highly profitable flip without having to spend money on marketing or negotiate with emotional sellers. And the title company takes the remaining $15,000 and wires it directly into your checking account. You never ran your credit. You never applied for a mortgage. You never swung a hammer. You never officially owned the real estate. You simply connected a massive problem with a massive solution, and the American free market rewarded you with a $15,000 check for being the transaction engineer. This is the exact system. There is no magic pill. There is no hidden secret the gurus are keeping from you. It is a volume game. It is a math equation. If you call 100 distressed sellers, 95 of them will tell you to go to hell. 4 of them will want retail price. 1 of them will be desperate enough to say yes. That one yes is worth $15,000, $20,000, or even $50,000. Let's look at the macro picture. The The person watching this who embraces the victim mentality is going to close this video and say, "That's too hard. The market is too saturated. I don't know any cash buyers." That person will wake up 5 years from now in the exact same financial prison they are in today, complaining about the economy. The person who understands leverage is going to open a new tab right now. They are going to search for the PRE foreclosure list in their county. They are going to start pulling phone numbers. They are going to get hung up on. They are going to get rejected. And then they are going to lock up their first contract and fundamentally change the financial trajectory of their bloodline. The market strictly rewards execution. It mercilessly punishes hesitation. You don't have a money problem. You have a hustle problem. You have the blueprint. The information is free. The execution is entirely up to you. Stop watching videos. Start making offers. I'll see you at the closing table.